Yeah, one final question for you. Do you still deal with imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
how does it
yeah.
look?
You said, how does it look?
Yeah, or how does it present now?
Um, Not as much or as big as it used to. Um, I hate to keep using this as an analogy, but the Leo in me, the fully realized Leo in me says imposter syndrome doesn't exist because I am who I am, where I am, when I want to be that person. So if you don't like it, agree with it, or want it around, that ain't no me. I'm just gonna be me. But I do think there are things that, speaking seriously, that I'm like new at or like inexperienced at, where I don't have the level of expertise and competence that I would like to have. But I wouldn't say that that is now the imposter syndrome as it used to be. Ain't no secret. I want to play on Survivor, right? I hope that y'all see me in the next couple of years on Survivor. I think I am very skilled to not only be on the show, but to make it a while and possibly win. I've never played the game before. So the moment that my feet touch the beach in Fiji, I'm going to be like, oh, holy shit, I ain't supposed to be here. Maybe all these other people have more experience than I do, right? It's just because it's new. So I think for me, how does it present? It's a certain apprehension that will come up when I'm doing new things, but I quickly get out of that because I'm like, well, shit, I'm supposed to be there. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here. I think the world is mine, so why not? So I feel like I changed my thought process on feeling like an imposter, but anytime I'm new, I'm gonna feel it a little bit. What's that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it's actually very similar. Like you said, it doesn't present as big or as dramatic as it used to in the past. But I think for me, it's the newness of it. But I think for me, a lot of my imposter syndrome is based in responsibility and typically leadership. So for me, having to when I'm faced with having to lead in a new way, or when I'm faced with having to just bear the responsibility of leadership, whether that means I have to re-explain this thing, or I have to teach somebody new this thing that I'm very accustomed to, but they have no idea like how I want that to look or what that looks like for me. Um, I would find myself like recently getting frustrated at the responsibility. And not that there was nobody to be mad at, but I started kind of feeling this like if I have to re-explain it, or if I have to, teach this again, or if I have to do XYZ, then maybe I'm not a good teacher, or maybe I'm not a good leader. But I kind of had to quickly snap out of that because a lot of it just comes with bearing that responsibility. It's like the double-edged sword. Like, yeah, the responsibility can be a lot, but also you are the only person that can bear it in this way and still make everything move the way you want it to. And for me, a lot of time it correlates to qualified, but like there's nobody else that can bear that responsibility and make things happen the way that you want them to happen. So the snapping out of it is more so the idea of like this just has to be done. And this doesn't have to be as anxiety filled and as bad as you think it is because I'm worried about how people are going to respond to it. Like if people are going to respond to me trying to make sure that they're executing something like, the way that I want to, then not that it says more about them because it's not personal, but it's more so the idea of like that's also not on me either because that's my job to do that, and ultimately like it's what I'm supposed to be doing as well. So very similar to how it presents for you now, and I think that that just kind of ideally comes with evolution and maturity, but I'm glad that that's there and I'm getting more comfortable in it because I'm sure there will be many more situations and circumstances in the next 10 years of my life where that will be required. So yeah.
Yeah, like, go ahead.
All right. The question that I remembered that I wanted to ask you. I finally remembered, but we can save it to the end.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say imposter syndrome is gonna show up all the time. Think about like wanting to be a parent, right?
Literally was thinking about that. Yeah. Yeah.
You, in theory, I'm speaking for myself, but in theory, you think that you will be a good parent and could be a good parent. And then you get this like loud ass, leaky ass 3 week old, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I need an adult. Like, no, you are the adult. It's just like so to ask yourself, and this isn't like a one size fit all thing, but ask yourself when you um experience imposter syndrome, am I capable of fill in the blank or whatever, the situation is going on? If the answer is yes, then lean into it. You can also ask like, oh, would somebody else be better at this than me? The answer is probably yes, right? Because you are not the best at everything. However, you are doing your best at this moment.
Yeah.
So, am I capable of it? If the answer is yes, then do your best. Don't worry about the other noise. It's other parents out there that, that they seem to be doing amazing. Have whatever. It's also some other parents out there that they shouldn't have had no kids, right?
Yeah.
Don't lay down with nobody if you ain't ready to raise what's gonna come next. You feel me? But I think if you are capable, if you feel that you are capable of something, then just do your best. Don't worry about what everybody else's best is because that can be subjective. And I think that's where imposter syndrome like bleeds out. So, am I capable? Yep, cool. I'm gonna just lean into that and tell myself until fake it till I make it. Just lean into the delusion if you need to. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had imposter syndrome when I first got Cali. Them first 24 to 48 hours. The hell did I get myself into? Why did I get a dog? This don't make no sense whatsoever. But but no, what, 5, 6, shoot, be 6 years in April that I've had her. So crazy world we live in. But but yeah, no, the question that I have for you, you mentioned you said this big ass wedding party. What's too big of a wedding party?
Again, subjective number. I One thing I do hate when you have these wedding parties and they're not even on both sides. Don't have seven of your homegirls and I got three of my homeboys. Like I don't like that. We're gonna balance this out and cut it off. But I feel like five is a reasonable number.
Okay.
Like especially for adults. You got maybe some childhood friends, you might have a sibling or two. I know in fraternal spaces and sorority spaces, you have more people that you would want to include. All your line brothers and all your line sisters do not need to be in the wedding party. They could be at the wedding. That's when you need to start looking at their grading system. Who might, you know your LBs, and you know that uh, some of them are D's. Let's just be honest, right? You love your brother down, but he don't need to be there. So no, I think five is a respectful number.
I think that would be considered. Well, I think five is probably average, to be completely honest. It also depends on. I think a lot of it depends on how big of a wedding you're having too.
Yeah.
Like uh like in one of the weddings I'll be in next year, definitely more than five for sure, way more than five. But I mean, and it just depends on the couple. A lot of that always comes down to the couple, likely the bride as well. But that is funny because a lot of times I don't think a lot of dudes have a high number of people in mind. Like when I think about like who I legit like no question would have in mind, like that number probably is hovering around 5 to 7 right now. Like that without question will be there. But it's just like if you were like I'd be not pulling teeth, but like I'd be forcing it a little bit trying to add to the number. Like I'd be like, well, I guess they could be like, I mean, well, they would be next in line, but like no, the number of people who are for sure like set in stone, that's about 5 to 7. So
Yeah, and that's good. I've seen 13. Again, it's all dependent on the couple.
right.
But from a project management standpoint, I ain't doing groups. There's just too many of y'all. I don't want to have to manage who can come here? You ain't available for this. Make sure you get your tux. Then I got to get gifts. I'm not being cheap, but I'm just saying, if you really want to
Yeah.
do it the right way and effective, like I definitely want to get a little token of appreciation. This wedding already cost too damn much. So now I got to get 13 gifts to my groomsmen. Ah, that's when I'm locking the doors and say, I need $20 from everybody. Okay. Call me Marvin Sapp. Because
Definitely look, locking the doors of the wedding party because it's all right. Listen,
listen,
y'all not leaving here until y'all make y'all contribution to this event.
13 people's far too many. But I mean, yeah, it depends on the couple. And to go from there. But if I get married, don't expect to see 13 people on my side.
Donald, I don't even think you like 13 people enough to have 13.
Mm-mm. We, we could be on a little yellow school bus and be just fine. I don't need a coach bus of a wedding party. We're not doing that.
The little yellow school bus is crazy.
Hmm.
That's all we got for y'all today.